has nothing to do with like how hot that your water is when you're in the shower. Well, neither did I. You learn something new every day. So I called Nate and I'm like, did you? You pay the hot water bill? And he was like, Cass, what are you talking about? Like, well, I got in the shower and it's freezing. Like, I like a good scalding hot shower. And he was like, you know what? Maybe I did. Maybe you should call the water company and ask them, you know, if we paid the bill. Make sure. Okay, no big deal. So I called, right? And I'm like, hey, just checking to see, you know, if we paid our hot water bill. Got in the shower this morning and it was really cold, so I need to pay it. They start cracking up, start laughing like hyenas, and hang up on me. And I thought, that was so rude. Like, why would you want somebody to have a cold shower? So anyway, I call them again, and I'm like, hey, I think we got disconnected. Just make sure you pay our hot water bill. Crickets. They don't say anything, and they just hang up. And I was like, oh, these are so rude people. Like, you know. So I called Nate, and I'm like, they're not taking it.
So funny, dude. He says a word in this song you've probably never heard.
Oh, that's what I'll watch.
Let's see. Atlas and a coffee cup. 5 fingers and a brush truck. I've never used it for a show on Saturday night. So an atlas. So they're driving. So they're in a dock, right? 5 fingers. An old dock.
Joe Biden established himself as a very flexible politician when it came to his positions on important issues. His lack of honesty and political integrity were established early in his career, as was his willingness to use his office for personal gain and vengeance. However, despite Biden's long track record of failures, to be fair, he did have a few brief moments of diplomatic brilliance, where he actually did his job on behalf of the nation, if not the world in general. What were some of Biden's successes in the Senate? How did he transform from a war hawk to a passive duck, and why? What professional and personal decisions did he make that harmed the nation? How did scandal begin to plague his career? Hello, I'm Colin Heaton, military veteran, historian, author, and welcome to this episode of Forgotten History.
Yeah, I was for Papa John. All the jobs I've had. Oh gosh. My very first job was bagging groceries at Winn-Dixie on the weekend because I was 15.
Before the start of the Yugoslav Civil War, as tensions were increasing, Biden held a tense 3-hour meeting with Serbian leader Slobodan Milosevic in April 1993. Again, to his credit, Biden worked on several versions of legislative language urging the U.S. toward greater involvement. Biden has rightly considered his role in the Balkans crisis as his proudest moment in public life regarding foreign policy. In 1999, during the Kosovo War, Biden supported the 1999 NATO bombings, and he, with Senator John McCain, co-sponsored the McCain-Biden-Kosovo resolution, which called on Clinton to use all necessary force, including ground troops, to confront Milosevic over Yugoslav actions toward ethnic Albanians in Kosovo. Biden was also a strong supporter of the war in Afghanistan, saying, "Whatever it takes, we should do it." As head of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee, he said in 2002 that Iraqi President Saddam Hussein was a threat to national security, and there was no other option than to eliminate that threat. In October 2002, as one of the most vocal hawks on Capitol Hill, He voted in favor of the authorization for use of military force against Iraq, approving the U.S. and coalition force invasion.
I had like an hour and a half.
By late 2006, Biden's stance had completely reversed, and he changed his previous opinions. He opposed the troop surge of 2007, saying that General David Petraeus was dead flat wrong in believing the surge could work, and Biden was wrong. The surge worked. Instead, Biden believing that dividing Iraq into 3 separate states, separating the factions, was a great idea, giving Kurds, Shiites, and Sunnis their own regions. Unfortunately, he failed to consult with Iran, Turkey, and Iraq. In September 2007, a non-binding resolution endorsing the plan passed the Senate,
tell him it's like a
but the
freaking
idea
fast
failed
food
to gain
joint.
traction in the House of Representatives.
But yeah,
To Biden's great credit, he did call for American intervention to end the genocide in Darfur,
there is.
but he also spoke out against
Yeah,
President
man, the one in
George
Port
W.
St.
Bush's
Lucie
handling of the
totally
Iraq
has an
War,
indoor
claiming
spot.
that he had been
The
opposed
one next to
all
Goodyear?
along. Others, like John Kerry and Hillary Clinton, also altered their previous positions.
That's the only one I ever
claiming they
went
never
to.
it
supported
was
the war.
just because they took over that building and it was
During the 2000s, Biden sponsored bankruptcy legislation sought by credit card issuers, and this made sense, as Biden was a major benefactor from the banks issuing those cards, most based in Delaware. They donated to his campaigns.
Yeah, it was very similar to Sonic,
Clinton
but
had
not
vetoed the
like,
bill in
they didn't
2000,
have
but it
car
passed
hops.
in 2005 during the George W. Bush administration as the Bankruptcy Abuse Prevention and Consumer Protection
No,
Act,
they had
with
Banana,
Biden being
which
one
was
of
the
only
best
18
one.
Democrats to
Elliot,
vote for it.
you know what
While
checkers
leading
are? It's the
Democrats and
seasoned
consumer
fries
rights
that I bought
organizations opposed it.
in the freezer section.
This would
Checkers
set in
fries.
motion the financial meltdown in 2007 and 2008.
got the grid pattern of white and black
Biden
checkerboard.
also strongly supported increasing
Yeah,
Amtrak
that's
funding by
Checkers.
taxpayers because that program never made a profit, and like the U.S. Postal Service, was always in the red. He opposed privatizing Amtrak, which would have made sense, as the private sector always manages a business better than the federal government.
And yeah, welcome to Checkers.
In 2007, Biden decided to run for the U.S. presidency again. But Biden's campaign could not compete in the primary challenges against the name recognition and momentum of fellow Senators Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama. And after receiving less than 1% of the vote in the crucial Iowa caucuses, Biden dropped out of the race.
What was that I wanted to do?
Biden was selected by Obama to be his vice presidential running mate, as it was believed that he could help the Obama campaign communicate its message of economic recovery to the blue-collar voters crucial to swing states like Ohio and Pennsylvania. On November 2nd, 2008, the Obama and Biden ticket defeated Republicans Arizona Senator John McCain and Alaska Governor Sarah Palin. On January 20th, 2009, Obama was sworn in as the 44th U.S. president, and Biden became the 47th vice president.
I was still working at home.
During this period, Biden's financial limitations manifested, along with the criminal behavior of then-Democrat Representative Barney Frank from Massachusetts. Frank had oversight of Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac and followed the Obama policy of giving home loans to underprivileged Americans, in essence, those who could not afford them. Many of these owners, unable to pay for the mortgages, defaulted,
No,
and the
you
banks
didn't.
had
You
to
worked for
recover those
Uncle
losses, which
Steve in
depleted
Port St.
cash
Lucie.
reserves for other investments. Barney Frank lied to Congress and the American
That was the only
people
place you
during
worked
the
for in Port
crisis
St. Lucie, I
period from
thought.
2006 to 2008.
I'm just
Housing
saying that I
prices
thought
took a
that was
plunge
the
even
only
greater
place
than the
that you
price
worked
drop during the Great
when you
Depression,
lived
and
in
new construction
PSL
ground to a halt.
was Uncle
As the
Steve's.
leading institutions
Of any
were
of the
going
times that you
bankrupt,
moved to
and
PSL.
new loans could not be secured by builders, and refinancing existing loans was almost impossible. In fact, that very discussion came to a head in 2009 when Frank was on Fox News Channel's The O'Reilly Factor,
that glass?
and Bill O'Reilly called Frank out for the lies, deception, and cover-ups. It was proven that, even while Frank and Biden, among others, touted the solvency of the home lending institutions, they were secretly selling their stocks to cash in before the whole house of cards collapsed. They saw it coming and did not tell the American people. In fact, they did just the opposite. The crisis was in essence created by Obama, Biden, Frank, and others with limited intellect and banking knowledge, which led to the Great Recession, and millions of working-class Americans, the very people the Democrats claimed to represent, lost everything from 401ks to homes and to their jobs. 2 years after the recession ended, unemployment was still above 9%, retirement plans evaporated, and Obama and Biden secured taxpayer bailouts for the banks and savings and loans that made those risky
What was
loans,
that I
most to
saw today that I
unqualified
wanted to
homebuyers
do?
who would not have qualified due to income and credit ratings. The major CEOs, CFOs, and others who ran these lending institutions
Barely
were given
anything.
golden financial parachute bailouts, so massive their feet would never touch the ground.
They're so sore
They
from
were
the
not
Pilates
held liable
yesterday.
for fiscal mismanagement, lying to the shareholders, the American public, and keeping separate books for presentation to auditors. The shareholders and investors who lost all
Someone
their
knocking on
money
the door.
were left
Or
to
Dorian's
wither on
here.
the vine, but they took care of their rich Democrat friends. But many Republicans were also involved, such as President George H. Bush Jr., who allowed this to happen. So, to be fair, he also
Someone's
did
knocking
nothing.
on the door.
That bailout of the
I
wealthy
heard
manifested
it.
later when they reciprocated by funding Democrat candidates
sounded
in
like
the next
Dorian.
midterm election, as well as
Oh, okay.
Obama-Biden for their re-election for the second term.
Oh.
In March 2008, insider investors like Barney Frank and others in the know, all liberals and a few Republicans, sold off their investment shares in the bank Bear Stearns because it contained too many of the questionable and toxic assets.
That's so funny.
Bear Stearns approached J.P.
That's
Morgan
so funny
Chase
that you
for
get
a
ding-dong
bailout,
dished by a
but the Fed
4-year-old.
had to sweeten the deal with a
She
$30
must
billion
like you, Josh.
guarantee using taxpayer money. The situation on Wall Street rapidly deteriorated throughout the summer of 2008. Congress authorized the Treasury Secretary to take over the mortgage companies Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, which Barney Frank oversaw and ran into the ground, and it cost $187 billion.
Oh, yeah,
Remember,
so you don't get your
Frank,
balls
Biden,
smashed.
and other liberals, as well as
Every
some
man figures
Republicans,
that out.
sold out before the
At some
crash.
point,
They had
those
insider
little girls,
information.
how to do
On
the
September
hip maneuver.
16, 2008, the Fed loaned another $85
kid's
billion
face
to
full of
AIG
junk.
as a bailout, although the average citizen lost everything. On September 17, 2008, the crisis created a
Yeah,
run
it totally
on money
was her.
market
I knew
funds
I heard
where
it.
companies parked excess cash to earn interest on it overnight, and banks then used those funds to make short-term loans. During the run, companies moved a record $172 billion out of their money market
Yep, it
accounts
wasn't a normal door
into
knock. It
even
was
safer
like
U.S. Treasury bonds.
dropping something on
Many
the
would call
counter.
that insider trading. On September 20th,
Yeah.
2008, Treasury Secretary Henry
Daddy's gonna
Paulson
go with you,
and
right?
Fed Chair Ben Bernanke submitted a $700 billion bailout package to Congress. This response helped stop the run, but Republicans blocked the bill for 2 weeks because they didn't want to bail out banks. They only approved the bill on October 1st, 2008, after global
I
stock
said
markets
yes, and then I
almost
realized
collapsed.
that we're not at home
Welcome
and
to
that he needs an
Bidenomics.
adult supervision.
Another factor of interest was
And so
that
then I
Biden
was
had
like,
worked
oh,
with the
wait,
Federal
is your
Reserve
dad
and
going
other
with
members
you?
of the
That
government
was a
to
question.
alter
It
the
wasn't a good
unemployment
thing. You don't
numbers
have to.
so that the administration looked better.
I can go with him.
In October and November, the Fed and Treasury restructured the bailout, bringing the total amount to $182 billion. By 2012, the government made $22.7 billion profit when the Treasury sold its last AIG shares. But those average Americans who lost their retirement investments never saw one dime. When they calculated unemployment, they never counted those discouraged workers who had given up looking for a job and dropped out of the workforce. Likewise, in order to appear better politically, the Obama-Biden administration began counting part-time and temporary employment into the job numbers. Biden personally led the charge to perform damage control after the Affordable Care Act passed in the dark of night without a single Republican vote in support of it. The Patient Protection and Affordable Care Act was signed into law on March 23, 2010. The law mandated that businesses with more than 50 full-time employees under the new law had to provide exhaustive and costly coverage to those workers. The end result was that companies then had to make hard choices. Some downsized their workforce below 50 workers. Some made their full-time workers part-time. While some companies simply moved their businesses overseas, many to China, Vietnam, Cambodia, and Europe, for cheaper operating expenses to escape the unaffordable insurance requirements. Biden actively supported the ACA, known as Obamacare, and the lies that were told to the public were exposed when millions of Americans lost their existing health care plans if they did not conform to the much more expensive ACA requirements.
Yeah?
Long-time patients lost their doctors, which they were told would not happen, and many doctors in private practice, seeing that Medicare payments would not cover their operating expenses, simply retired from the practice of medicine. Simply put, it was a bad law that crippled the economy across the board, a true result of a socialist-inspired policy mandate, which Joe Biden totally supported. Obama and Biden claimed that it was not a tax, but in fact it was. And when challenged to the Supreme Court, the justices ruled it was legal because it is a tax and Congress can make tax laws. But guess who lobbied Biden and other Democrats to get the law passed? That's right, the major insurance companies, because they believed that they would make more money since the government was covering the bill. And with the mandatory tax imposed for those who did not buy it and the high cost of coverage that locked it in, it was a win for everybody. Those people who lost full-time working status in many cases took second part-time jobs, which were continuously added to the Obama-Biden unemployment figures, providing a false impression of higher employment in the country. While Biden mostly served in the role of behind-the-scenes advisor to Obama, he was very active in formulating federal policies relating to the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan. Also, to Biden's credit, it should be mentioned that he helped bring the new Strategic Arms Reduction Treaty between the United States and the Russian Federation to life in 2010. In October 2015, Biden announced that he would not seek the 2016 Democratic nomination after the death of his son, Beau. Obama presented Biden with the Presidential Medal of Freedom on January 12, 2017, in a surprise ceremony at the White House. However,
It's crazy how
there were
different
many
Biden
things
looks
coming
today
back to
than he
haunt
did
Biden.
literally 2-3 years ago.
Also, in 2017, Biden wrote a memoir, Promise Me Dad, and went on a book tour. By 2019, he and his wife reported that they had earned over $15 million since the end of his vice presidency from speaking engagements and book sales. However, Biden, the man who claimed to be the poorest man in Congress, paid millions of dollars in cash for several homes, including a beach house in Rehoboth Beach, Delaware. Biden's income-to-debt ratio did not match IRS records, nor did Hunter's. More on that in Part 3. More allegations of sexual misconduct continued to follow Biden. Lucy Flores, a former Nevada State Assemblywoman, came forward saying that Biden inappropriately kissed her at a campaign event, and a former congressional aide named Amy Lapos spoke of how Biden once made her uncomfortable at a fundraiser. Between March and April 2019, 8 women accused Biden of inappropriate physical contact. The most credible allegation of sexual assault
Ooh, he's like
came from
sniffing
a
on
former
people.
aide named Tara Reid. She had reported the event and filed a formal complaint to the Ethics Committee through proper channels, informed her family and friends, and her mother, Jeanette Altimus, called the popular talk show Larry King Live in 1993 to talk with King. The title of the program that day was Washington, the Cruelest City on Earth, and one of the guests was Lois Romano, who at the time worked as a journalist for the Washington Post. The entire event was laid out on national TV. Despite the scandals, Biden announced that he was running for president in 2020 on April 25, 2019, and he was heavily criticized for his longtime support of the Hyde Amendment, the federal law that bans federal funding for abortions. As he was running for president due to liberal pressure, he reversed his position on Hyde, as well as his many previous positions on gay marriage, gays in the military, etc. He always chose the position that gave him political lift. In essence, he has always been a fraud, never having a strong moral position that could not be swayed for personal or political advantage. What really brought interest into Biden's family finances was the first debate between Trump and Biden. Biden denied that his family had made any money from China or that he had ever spoken to his son Hunter or anyone in his family about their foreign business interests. Trump knew that it was all a lie, as he had the information and people had come forward, such as retired U.S. Navy Lieutenant Tony Bobulinski, the CEO of Sinohawk Holdings. He provided electronic, written, and verified whistleblower testimony, refuting all the claims made by both Hunter and Joe Biden, and all of Bobulinski's assertions proved to be 100% accurate. In September 2019, it was revealed that President Trump had inquired into the Ukrainian government investigating Biden and his son Hunter. This was the result of Biden blackmailing the president of Ukraine, threatening to withhold $1 billion in U.S. aid unless the country's prosecutor general at the time was fired. The investigation was into Burisma Holdings and their illegal activities in trying to corner the energy market, and why Hunter Biden, without any business, energy, or serious finance experience, no knowledge of the Ukraine, as well as a documented history of drug addiction, was involved. Trump wanted answers. In a September 24th speech, Biden called Trump's actions an abuse of power and said he would support impeachment if Trump did not cooperate with Congress. The stupidity of that scenario was that House Speaker Nancy Pelosi ignited impeachment proceedings that same day without even having an inquiry. The impeachment proved to be a farce when the transcript of the call was made public, proving that Trump had in fact only inquired as to the status of the investigation, given the evidence that the Bidens were making millions from Burisma in undeclared, unearned, and untaxed income. Quickly getting to work, President Biden signed a series of executive orders over his first few days in office, 17 being signed the first day. He reversed the successful policies initiated by Trump and opened the southern border in violation of federal law and his oath of office. Pandering to his New Green Deal Democrats, Biden killed the pipelines, stopped giving new leases to drill, restricted land so that current leases could not be used, and pushed electric vehicles, for which all the major components are made in China, and the materials are mined by slave labor in Africa, mostly children. In his first 2 weeks in office, Biden signed more executive orders than any other president since Franklin D. Roosevelt had in their first month in office, and every one of them has damaged the country. Biden also removed the Remain in Mexico policy, which prevented the illegals from around the world from crossing the border, with the assistance of the Mexican government, who had also secured their southern border with Guatemala. Biden agreed to re-enter the United States in the climate-related Paris Agreement, and he overturned the ban that prevented entry for Muslims coming from terrorist-supporting nations. Biden campaigned and then pulled funding for the completion of the wall along the Mexican border. He then began having the border wall cut open to allow more illegals and criminals to enter the country. As we go into part 3, we will see how Biden undermined national security, sold access and influence, violating his oath of office from senator through president, stole highly classified material, lied to the American people regarding his family's crime spree, and weakened the country's position on the world stage, which is explained by the Biden crime family's sudden wealth and political decisions that only benefited our enemies. Thanks for watching today's episode of Forgotten History. If you like this episode, please consider becoming a channel member or joining our Patreon page. This
Oh, they've taken them down. Okay, so okay, part 3.
Today's episode is sponsored by the Patriot Gold Group. Upon coming into office, Joseph Biden completely upended the positive gains made by his predecessor, Donald Trump. Almost as in an act of revenge, he decided to use his executive orders to destroy the nation's economy and security to appease the far-left progressives who hated Trump and yet benefited from his successes. How much damage did Biden do with his executive orders? What did he do to undermine our national and economic security?
Yep. Exclamation point.
How did he make the United States a weaker nation?
Oh shit, I thought she was gone. LOL. She's good, the cat is fine. Thank you so much.
The world stage. What was the result of his actions domestically and internationally? Hello, I'm Colin Heaton, military veteran, historian, author, and welcome to this episode of Forgotten History.
Maybe, question mark.
It's something from the neighbor for Orly.
What, let me see.
Yes.
Show me. I'm excited. Pig's ears?
No.
It sounds like a pig's ear.
It has potato.
Let me see.
You're gonna freak out.
What? Awesome!
From
Orly!
day one, President Biden
What
got
did she
busy.
get for
Immediately. He
you?
revoked the permit to the Keystone XL pipeline and took a campaign promise to destroy the fossil fuel industry. After Trump had made the country not only energy independent, but the world's largest exporter of oil and natural gas, which explained the great economy and low energy
man, that sounds
prices,
good
food
enough to
prices, and
eat.
transportation prices. In fact,
Oh,
Russia could
go
not
ahead.
compete with our volume, quality, and quantity, as well as our selling prices to Europe,
Good
which brought the
boy.
economy down hard for Russia. The Arab Gulf states were also suffering from the price of their crude dropping along with demand, as we did not need their oil. Biden was at least smart enough not to revoke the ban on Iranian oil exports, which under Trump almost had Iran begging for foreign aid as part of the U.S. and UN embargo on the terrorist state. But Biden simply chose not to enforce the ban, allowing Iran to pump and export 3 billion barrels a day, earning up to $100 billion as of this recording. In addition, he gave $10 billion in cash to Iran, and allowing them to export their
Oh,
oil
that's so
made
nice.
them wealthy enough to restart their
That's
financial
so
support
nice.
of the primary terrorist groups in the Middle East. The results were obvious on October 7th, 2023. Biden bucks also supplied the weapons to include automatic rifles, rockets,
Oh, he
and
doesn't like
anti-tank
'em?
missiles purchased from China and
Does she have
Russia,
rainbow glasses?
and has seen great increase in attacks
I don't
upon
know where
U.S.
anybody
troops in
lives.
Iraq,
Does she have rainbow
Syria,
glasses?
and at ships at sea
Elliot, is
fired
the lady with
from
rainbow
Yemen by
glasses?
Houthi terrorists, also
So then who's the
sponsored
dog?
by Iran.
He's a little white,
In 2020, U.S. debt was $23
Is he a
trillion
Jack Russell
and
Terrier?
gold $1,500
Okay,
an
yeah,
ounce.
no, that dog's just kind of
2023,
skittish, the owner said.
$33 trillion and gold is over $2,000.
Orly doesn't
an
not
ounce.
like him. Orly has
There's a
nobody
direct
he doesn't like.
correlation to the
He's just
national
kind of
debt
scared of
and
him a
price
little.
gold. Donald Trump warned, the U.S. dollar no longer being the world standard will be our greatest
So
defeat
good.
in 200 years.
dollar all over. But you take a look at what's happening to it now with other countries not using it.
Call the proud Americans of the Patriot Gold Group today before it's too late. Mention forgotten history, and you'll always get best-in-class service from Patriots protecting Patriots. Patriot Gold Group has the no-fee-for-life IRA, where your IRA or 401k can be in physical gold and silver, and you may be eligible for the no-fee-for-life IRA on qualifying rollovers. Call 888-925-1970
Yeah, my
for a
heart
free
and soul.
investor
What's
guide
up?
today. Patriot Gold Group is Consumer Affairs top-rated
Baby,
gold
I don't wanna look at
IRA
crash
dealer
cars,
7
okay?
years in a row. So call
Dad.
888
Crash cars, Dad department.
1970 today. Biden, who for years previously opposed same-sex marriage and gays in the military, flipped again. He allowed transgender people to once again serve in the military, which reduces combat readiness and increases the cost of the overall military budget, given the elevated health care requirements for many, forcing the taxpayers to pay for transitioning surgeries and aftercare, which also debilitates military readiness. One of Trump's great accomplishments was securing additional health care access for veterans by outsourcing care to private facilities with the guarantee of federal compensation. This program greatly benefited veterans who had suffered for decades with long waits for treatments and evaluation, especially by getting them into specialists within a matter of days in some
Outside?
cases instead of months or even
Well,
years.
why'd you come inside?
My own son, Max, a Marine Afghanistan veteran, was a beneficiary of this outstanding program that even many Democrats supported. But
Okay,
Biden
so
killed
is
it
he gonna be
when he decided
outside?
that
You can
sending
only be
VA
outside
healthcare
if someone's
workers to
with
handle
you.
the millions of illegal immigrants,
Okay,
he
so let him
allowed
smoke
in,
first, and then
violating
he'll
his
come
oath
get
of
you.
office and
He just
federal
doesn't want you to be
immigration
standing
law,
out there while he's
and
smoking.
national security was more important. Biden initially reneged on his promise to
Well, then he
raise the
can't
Trump
see you,
era
honey.
cap of 15,000 refugees per year, before political pushback forced him to reconsider his stance. Instead, he just opened the southern border again, violating his oath of office and federal law. He also reversed Trump and rejoined the fraudulent, criminal, and totally unreliable World Health Organization and Paris Climate Accord. But there have been serious concerns. One former staffer reported that since at least 2020, during the presidential Democratic primaries, he was being forced
Norma
to
Hyatt?
take dementia medications
Baby
before
was
each
a
public appearance
schnauzer,
by his wife
a
to
miniature
render him
schnauzer.
coherent. This eyewitness said that before taking the pills, he was like a small child and unable to speak and was basically unable to function. This seems to be an explanation for his erratic and incoherent behavior.
Baby had sensitive stomach.
Biden also agreed to re-enter the Iran nuclear deal, which was a farce the day it was agreed upon by the Obama administration. And Biden, over the course of time, released billions of more dollars to Iran, which in turn funded more terrorism, which we are seeing today in Israel, Iraq, Syria, and Yemen. In one of the greatest intellectual failures in American history, Biden decided
Yeah,
to
that's what Grandma
change
used
the
to do.
plan for American forces to begin
sweet
withdrawing
potato.
from Afghanistan
Because
in
then baby,
2020.
she found out baby was allergic
Negotiated by
to
Trump
chicken or
and
something
under
like
the
that. So
provisions
then
of
she
a
had to
February
do sweet
2020
potatoes
U.S.
and
Taliban
rice
agreement
and
that set a May 1st, 2021 deadline, with the Taliban following certain conditions. The Taliban honored those conditions under Trump, and not one American serviceman was wounded or killed during the
stuff.
process.
Yeah, I buy the all grain.
However,
or I mean,
seeing the weakness of
no
the man in the
grain
White House
dog
and the
food.
people he surrounded himself with, the Taliban
Are you talking
began
to
an
me?
offensive on May 1st, and by early July, most American troops
Yeah,
in
okay.
Afghanistan had been withdrawn.
no. So anyway, yeah, I buy the no
Biden
grain,
incompetently
all
addressed the world
whatever
by
meat
saying, quote,
and
the
vegetables.
likelihood there's going to be
And,
the Taliban overrunning everything in
And then
the
I
whole
obviously
country
I
is
supplement
highly
that
unlikely,
with more
end
meat
quote.
and more
On
real
August
meat
16th,
and real
2021,
vegetables
Biden
and
addressed the
eggs.
messy situation,
And then like
taking
whatever shit
responsibility
we're
for it
eating,
and admitting
I
that
just
the
serve him
situation
a plate of
unfolded
dinner,
more
whatever
quickly
we're
than we
eating.
had anticipated. The U.S.
Because
military
he's part of the
completed
family,
withdrawal
so what
from
am I gonna do?
Afghanistan
Make
on
him
August
fucking
30th.
eat
Biden
hard
called the extraction of
gruel
over
while we're sitting there
120,000
eating delicious
Americans,
food? I don't
Afghans,
think
and their
so.
other allies an
He's like,
extraordinary
yeah,
success.
he's got the most sensitive nose,
Although
and he gets to
acknowledged
smell all
that
those
up to
delicious
200
foods, but he gets like
Americans, by
to
his
eat fucking
estimate,
hard
who
gruel.
wanted to leave did not leave,
No, that's
despite
fucking
his
evil.
August 18th pledge to keep troops in
know
Afghanistan until all Americans who wanted to leave had left. He
Yeah, it's not.
abandoned
It's
them.
like worse than grape nuts.
He never explained leaving over
Have you
$80
ever
billion
actually tasted
worth
dog
of
food? It's
expensive
literally
and sensitive
disgusting.
military hardware to be sold or given to Iran, Russia, and
And it's
China
greasy,
to be reverse
because they have to
engineered
have
and
all that
possibly
crude
used
fat.
against us. He defended
Well,
his
there's
decision
well,
on
they
the
don't
method
put meat
to
they
withdraw,
like bake it
saying
and stuff,
that
and
Americans should not be
it's so
dying
cooked,
in a
it's
war
basically
that
cardboard.
Afghan forces are not willing to fight for themselves. We have already posted
Well,
a
that just
video on
depends
this
on the brand you buy.
disaster, so we will not belabor the matter here.
But
In
yeah,
another
like I just think that's it's the same
incomprehensible
thing with the
display
cat.
of
Like
illogic,
cats
right
have
after
all
virtually
sharp
killing the
teeth,
oil
dude.
and
They're
gas
not meant
industry
to
by
be
closing
chewing
federal
on
lands that Trump
crunchy.
approved. On
kibble.
February 4th, 2021, the Biden
That's what I'm
administration
saying. They're
announced
sharp
that
and
the United
shit.
States was
I
ending its
know,
support
that's
for the
what I'm
Saudi-led
saying.
bombing campaign in Yemen
I watched my
against
cat in
Iranian-backed
misery. I don't know
Houthi
how her
terrorists,
little teeth haven't
and that
cracked.
he would reevaluate
I feel
the
so
United
sorry
States
for my cat. Every time she
relationship with
eats
Saudi
dry
Arabia.
food, I'm like, oh my god.
Saudi Arabia had been bombing the Iran-backed
But I
Houthi
will say
rebels,
that
the
she
terrorist group that had
fucking,
been
you should
attacking
hear
Saudi
what it
Arabia,
sounds like when
a
she's
group which
crunching a
Biden
fucking
also
mouse
removed
skull.
from the official terrorist list, appeasing
There is a
Iran,
very
whom he
specific
paid off.
smell. Like, I swear to God, no matter where I go in the world
So,
from now on,
Biden
if there is
flips
mice
off the
anywhere,
Saudis,
I will
destroying the
smell it.
strong bonds made by President Trump.
Because
with
you know I'm
Abraham
allergic to that
Accords
shit
that
anyway.
brought Saudi Arabia, Yemen,
But it's
Israel,
even when their
Morocco,
guts
United
have
Arab
this smell.
Emirates,
Everything
and
has this
Bahrain
very
into a
specific smell.
negotiation with all
It's
those
so
nations
gross.
focused upon Iran as the primary threat to
Did I
the
rip it
region.
off? Yeah, I
in
needed
essence,
the
a
sticker.
coalition. Biden also depleted the critical
No, I
US
needed a
strategic
sticker,
oil reserve
and
to
it was the
compensate
closest
for the
thing to
rapid
me,
drop
so I
in
stole
domestic
it.
production in order
I
to
couldn't find it, and I
offset
couldn't be
skyrocketing
bothered.
fuel prices.
I was just looking for
But
something
even
I could
worse,
stick
he was
immediately.
selling that oil to China as well.
It was nothing
while
important,
at the same time
so
giving Iran billions of
it's
more
just-
dollars directly and letting them ship their
It's-
oil
would imagine
to
the top
bomb
drawer.
terrorists. In order to try and recover from that imbecilic self-inflicted wound,
Yeah.
Biden went
No, I was
begging
in a
to
hurry.
Venezuela and
Like I
Saudi
said, I was
Arabia,
like
nations he
needing it
openly
now, so that was the
vilified
closest,
to
literally the
purchase
closest
oil
thing
from
to
those
me with tape
nations,
on it.
which
And it was
only
already sticking
increased
out,
the
waiting
price
for
at
me to
the
grab.
pump and made us a weaker nation.
Mm-hmm.
When Biden went to the Saudis begging for more oil to be pumped and shipped to the U.S., the Saudis simply refused. Trump's projection of power kept the world's bad actors in check, but Biden's posturing and displays of frailty, stupidity, and weakness made the world a far more dangerous place. After Russia invaded Ukraine, which would not have happened under Trump, Biden inexplicably refused to allow NATO countries to provide the Ukrainians with high-tech Soviet-made equipment, especially missiles and jet fighter bombers, which the Ukrainians understood and could have put to good use. His apathetic physical response to the problem contrasted with his public verbal support of Ukraine. Only now is Biden being under pressure to supply Ukraine, much like when Obama and Biden said nothing and did nothing as Putin took Crimea in 2014. In Chapter 4, we will follow the money trails that explain Biden's blind eye approach to these rogue regimes. But what Biden did was to appoint persons within the federal government who were both politically and possibly financially beholden to the Biden crime family. The American public, in fact, the world at large, has seen the complete abrogation of equal application of federal laws, and here are a few examples. The federal government agencies have been protecting the Biden crime family's operations, as well as the double legal standard applied to Democrats and Republicans, and how Joe Biden has, for the time being, benefited from this corruption. Here, we will lay out the roadmap for why Joseph Biden should have been indicted and possibly will still be indicted. Besides opening the southern border and allowing an unfettered invasion of our country by people from 174 nations, there has been an ongoing debate as to whether the Irish were the first slaves in the Americas, predating the first black African slaves by almost a decade. Slavery is perhaps one of the oldest profit-making endeavors in human history, and the Irish were a special target for 1,000 years. Throughout history, the Irish were persecuted by one faction or another, to include enslavement and indentured servitude. When did the Irish first become slaves? How long did the selling of the Irish continue? Some groups deny the Irish.
Still away from me. Yeah, that Pilates kicked my ass yesterday. Kind of just want to like. I'm gonna have to watch my own video and see what the fuck I was doing yesterday that felt so good. I did that, and then I did that. Oh yeah, I have that outfit. I can put that back on. I ran to the store. Oh yeah. Okay. I'm just gonna follow along with myself from yesterday. It is so weird watching myself here and myself there at the same time. I feel like I've got like multiple arms or something. Because it's the same arm that I'm working right now. Are you a happy boy now? You got those yummy treats. That makes me very happy. That side is so sweet. I love you. That's some good stuff right there. I have these fucking big old petriformis, and what is it called? Not that's in your butt. What is it called? I can't remember. Fucking wings. I have big old wings. Oh yeah, and then what happened? Tell me more. Come on, get in the ass. Ooh, Heather, you had some good ideas. Girl, you were onto something yesterday. Glad you recorded this. You're making good use of that thing, huh, bud? I just took you out to go poop like literally 5 minutes before I turned this thing on. I just started to break out in a sweat and he's like, I want to go outside. So I stopped, took him outside. And then came in here and then got myself back to really sweaty and then I was like, okay, well I guess I'm not gonna cry for the next couple of hours. Maybe I'll just put on the live. You're back. Okay, I gotta go text message Roxanne real quick. Hold on, this is gonna take a second. A lot.
I was like, how much is this? She's She's like, oh, they're like,
$17.
she's like, oh, that's like 15 because I ordered 3 on accident. She ordered, yeah, she didn't order 1, she ordered 3 on accident. She's like, oh, well, she got a deal for ordering 3.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so she got it for cheaper.
I get the duck jerky. It's like $19.99.
Yeah.
I just get the duck since it's just a couple bucks more.
$50, and I'm like, well, man, I don't have any cash. She's like, you're not gonna pay me for it. She's like, I'm just giving it to you. And I was like, well, I mean, I get it. But like, if I had like a $5 bill on me or something, I'd just, you know, hey, okay, so here's $5. Ooh, appreciate it. Just as a gesture of kindness, that's what we do for her. You gotta be careful what you give the neighbors in an apartment complex, you know what I mean?
Yes, I do.
Well, because you don't want to make the wrong types of friends.
Mm-hmm.
By association with, you know,
Drug addicts.
any type of other thing, like, you know, for example.
Well, I gave you this. You owe me.
Exactly. Yeah. So you just gotta be careful.
Yeah, I don't. It's a lady with a dog, Josh. It's one of the dog friends, you know? The dog's got more friends in the neighborhood than any of us.
No. Yeah, no, yeah. Legit.
Like, literally.
Legit.
I made more friends.
You have more friends in my neighborhood than I do, I think, at this point.
Probably.
What'd you buy? Get there, buddy. What'd you just get, bud? What's he got, bud?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good boy. Good boy.
No, Phoenix, that's not gonna happen. Not at all. So I'm actually gonna have to go back, like, probably tomorrow. My neighbor, who's been staying there, has to go and do some stuff, and so I don't, so they had left today. So my other neighbor went today to, like, just check on everything and catch up.
Watch his butt cheeks even wiggle. Look, he's got butt cheeks. They're just down here and they're made out of hair. Look at
No, he doesn't have.
Look at Wiggles.
He doesn't have that kind of butt cheek.
And he likes it when you do it. Alright,
Dad,
so lay down, buddy.
I think I'm trapped up here. You wanna know why?
No.
I have Roxanne is text messaging me, so I'm having to reply because it's about the land sale. So I'm taking the time to reply to her.
This is what I mean by I'm stuck. Why?
She's really fucking upset right now.
I'm stuck. That's what I mean by stuck. Emergency exit.
I'm getting.
Maybe if I rip it off? No, that's not. Idea. I just didn't in the room.
Dude, you gotta talk to her about
There
that,
we
bud.
go. Uh-oh. What, Dad?
I think Orly has to pee or something, man. I don't know.
He's supposed to go play with friends.
Maybe. I'm not sure what the deal is. Outside and socializing.
Check Discord, moms.
Some dogs have jobs. I was about to say dogs don't have jobs, but you know what? That'd be wrong. A lot of dogs have jobs.
Yeah, a lot of dogs have jobs.
I would say that would be very
He
incorrect.
doesn't do a job.
But yeah, he doesn't have a job. You're correct. You're right. So. Yeah, you know that makes sense, man. Maybe that's why he's like, man, kind of just bored.
Aw, dang, I broke.
Here, and what was their work?
He's
What is it?
livestock guardianship.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Dude, I was like totally like he's like but he's not a shepherd, so it's like wait, he's not a sheep herder, but it probably or like
He's a guardian. He hangs out at home and makes sure that nothing attacks them at night. That's what he's a night. They're his breed are night owls.
Nice. I've seen videos of dogs where like they'll hear like
That's him.
coyotes and stuff.
Mhm.
And they like get alert. They wake up and
Mhm.
they come out and they start protecting.
Yep, that's what his parents and everybody are. That's what he was trained to do.
That was his job. So
Yeah.
You hear that, bud?
Yeah.
You heard what mom just said?
He knows.
Okay.
He's been over to the place where we got him from.
Okay. So he had a job. Like yeah, he be doing something, right? But yeah, you can't always, you guys didn't get him to use him for that job, right? You got him for a pet, and he's just sprightly. He wants to hopefully be doing something.
The reason we got him is so then he could protect their animals.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's cool.
I love Hannah. I love my neighbor. She's so good to me. I know what you want, Sonny Jim, okay? You're just gonna have to wait until I'm ready. I don't really want to. I'm sorry they don't want to take you out. You just have to wait. I'm breaking out in a sweat. Breaking out in a grease, more like. My dog whimpers all the time. That's like what his sound is. He's not whimpering for any reason other than, hey, look at me, look at me, look at me. He doesn't whimper like last resort like most dogs. Most dogs whimper like as an absolute like last resort. Not him. That's his first noise. He does it so much he actually like whimpers and shit in his sleep. What? He's literally just staring at me. He wants me to take him outside, but it's not because he has to go potty. We just went potty, like, and he pooped and peed multiple times. It's because there are friends outside right now, so he wants to go outside where the friends are. But unfortunately, he got his hip hurt the other day doing friends stuff, and so now I kind of have to like make him be easy because he really, this one lady's dog just, it's not her fault, you know, or anything like that, but like her dog just like absolutely is too strong and too young for Orly and too dominant.
Can you take Orly OAT?
Baby, I'm literally
There.
talking about him being OUT right now to the peeps. So when I'm done, I'll take him out.
I want to play with my friends so bad.
Oh, you want to go outside too? All right.
Yeah. I've been waiting for you.
Do you wash your hands with soap, bud?
What?
Well, I see you at pee. Did you wash your hands with soap?
Oh, I didn't see.
We're gonna go outside. Whoa, 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 slow down. Orly, come on.
Outside with this one. Oh, you just surprised me. I didn't know you were there.
Oh.
Oh, yeah.
Here, help. Your shoes? No.
Listen, did you see what you did?
What?
Well, you banged the sofa into all of
Ooh,
break your
you
stuff.
destroy your stuff. Whoa. Take a deep breath, take a deep breath, take a deep breath, take a deep breath. Go! Okay, I will. Can you back up so that I can get through though? Because I'm backed into this corner with the dog. Thank you.
Backed into a corner.
Because the door has to open, babe.
That guy got hit by a tire. A truck.
Oh my
Tire flew off
gosh.
and he got hit in the front end.
Oh no.
Passenger.
Orly, inside. Good boy. Go. It's chilly out. It's a little bit chilly. Ellie, easy. Orly, go potty. Elliot, be mindful of the dog peeing on the fence. You don't want to get squirted. Yeah, it's a little bit chilly. Elliot, baby.
What?
No. Push up and over. Push up and over.
No, that's not sturdy enough. It's not sturdy enough. It's gonna break. They got
Don't you
too,
throw those
they got
nails
too
away,
far
please?
apart.
Don't do it. Baby, seriously, don't do it.
I'll do it from the car.
Why don't you just walk all the way around?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm gonna have to go inside real quick. Hey, Elliot, watch him for 2 seconds. I have to run and go get a sweater really quickly.
Okay, can you start that for me?
Yeah, of course. But just don't run off watchdog for 2 seconds. Okay, forgot I'm not supposed to be doing any cardio. What? Jacket. Help her out. Don't accidentally let Orly out.
She loves me.
Yeah, I told you he was a good dog. He does not bark and bite or anything. If he hurts you, it's only because he's just so big he doesn't know how to control himself. Thanks, Elliot. Good job. Look at you. You having fun?
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, he's a good boy. He is a good boy.
Don't hop on him.
Best boy
He has
ever.
bad He will die. Yeah.
Yeah, Olivia. So I went to the doctor today,
Oh, I'm so sorry.
and it was crazy because like what happened and like it was very much like cosmic or whatever. But I was like walking out of my doctor's office, and she didn't do any of my like, you know, heart stuff, ear stuff. We kind of just skipped it because we're just getting right to the nitty gritty. I want to like schedule. I'm 40, so it's time. I want to schedule a colonoscopy. I want to schedule a PAP. I want to schedule a mammogram. You know, just like get all those things. Just kind of like let's get scheduled. It's time to schedule these things. You know, I'm due for a PAP next month, and then I'm due for a mammogram in like 3 months, and then I've never had a colonoscopy, and I'm 40, and I have a history of polyps. So I just want to like start getting all this stuff. So that's what I was there for. So I go to the doctor, and I'm about to walk out the door, and we're like leaving and talking. We're just chatting. She's one of my great friends. Over the years, we've developed a great friendship. And so I'm like walking out the door with her, and then she just like kind of looks at me, and she just kind of puts her hand on my chest and just kind of backs me back up into the room, and she goes, gets her stuff, puts it, and starts listening to me. And then I started talking to her about the POTS symptoms that I've been having. And
Help
like
me, Dad. Mom.
What?
Mom. The mom.
What's up?
Come on, Dorian. Come on, let's hop out. Come on.
You got your ball?
I didn't bring
Elliot, no, sir. We don't
on,
do that.
Dorian,
Don't climb up there anymore. Come on, don't climb up there. It's okay. I'll shut the door. Here, you want to go out? I'll shut the door.
Yeah.
So Dorian can get out. I'll help him out.
Come on, Dorian.
He's right over there. So anyways, so she did my heart. She did my. It's okay. She's got it, baby. She can go. All right, come on. Latch it, latch it, latch it, latch it, latch it. Careful and latch it.
Hurt me.
Elliot, you have to do it because it's broken. Remember? I'll get it, Dorian. Thank you for trying. Thank you for trying. I appreciate you. Oh, sorry. So anyway, she like pushed me back in the room, and so she was like, let me just like do this real quick. And so then I started talking to her about like my POTS symptoms and the things that I've been doing to like treat myself. You know, I was like, oh yeah, I started mixing Celtic salt and Himalayan salt, and I've just been like trying to speed things up, so I'll put salt right directly on my tongue, and just telling her all the things I was doing. And then she was like, you know, she's like, it's been a little while. Why don't we do an orthostatic test on you? And I was like, you can do that here? Like, I don't have to go to the cardiologist again to do all that? And she's like, no, I can do it right here. So I was like, okay, cool, let's do it. So I did this test. So she had me like lay down for 5 minutes, and then she did my blood pressure and my heart rate, and then she had me stand and then sit down and then stand and whatever. So it was like 10 minutes in total, all the different things I had to do. So anyway, the little thing that you put your finger on, the machine kept beeping, and I was like, oh, the battery must be dead or something. This thing's beeping, beeping, beeping. Come to find out it was beeping because I have a low heart rate. My heart rate was like 42, 44, 48. It was between 42 and 48. So that's like my resting heart rate when I was laying down was the lowest, obviously. And then, so it was like 42 or 44, between 44 and 42 beats per minute when I was laying down. And then when I stood up from laying down, my blood pressure spiked. My blood pressure was 102 over whatever, and when I was laying down. And then when I stood up and they took my blood pressure, it was 126 over something. So my doctor's nervous, and she was like, okay, well, she's like, hold on a second, or the nurse, rather. My nurse got super nervous, and she was like, okay, well, I'm going to have to go talk to the doctor. She's like, I don't want you to panic, but she's like, you might have to go to the emergency room. And I was like, what the fuck do you mean I might have to go to the emergency room? I don't want to go to the emergency room right now. Like, I'm fucking visiting my ex-husband's house. Like, it's been a fucking day. I just don't have it in me. And she was, so anyways, my doctor came in, and she was like, Heather, she's like, you definitely have some bradycardia going on. And I was like, what's that mean? And she was like, low heart rate. And I was like, okay, but isn't that like, you know, isn't that normal? Like, considering that I kind of just have low blood pressure and I'm a tiny person and like whatever. And she was like, yeah, well, about that. She's like, well, it's not quite normal for your blood pressure. Orly, are you ready? Orly, are you ready to go inside? You want to go home? Are you ready to go home?
I'm going to the house.
She's my friend.
Yeah, he's always hugging on her in the house.
Yeah, she's my friend.
So anyway, she was like, yeah, well, you know, it's the fact that your heart rate, your blood pressure jumped so significantly that it really has me worried. She's like, I don't think you need to go to the emergency room today, but she's like, if you start to feel any dizziness or whatever, you know, you need to go to the emergency room. Don't mess around. And I was like, dude, I just started working out, dude. Like, I literally just started working out. Come on, right here. I just started working out. Does this mean I can't work out? Oh, shit. And she was like, no, she's like, you can still do some exercises. She's like, but do not do like intense cardio. And, you know, if you feel any weakness or dizziness, she's like, stop immediately. Where'd you go, Elliot? Elliot, why can't I not see you? Come on, bud, this way. Did you go out the front door or the back door?
Come on, bud.
Come on, baby. Will you just stay for 2 more minutes for him to finish that hide and seek game that he's playing? Okay, 2 more hide and seeks. Good boy. So anyway, so I have something going on with my fucking heart, which is really scary. And my aunt, I talked to my aunt today. Come on, home. Let's go home. I talked to my aunt today, and apparently my aunt has this fucking, like, my aunt is like dying apparently. I didn't realize this. So this is awesome to find out. Like, well, I'm already having kind of a moment. But, so my aunt, I was telling her what happened, because, you know, she knows, like, our whole family history and stuff. And, she was like, oh, yeah, you know, your grandma had tachycardia. And I've had tachycardia before already. Like, I've had heart palpitations my whole life. So she's like, I think that's what tachycardia was. I can't remember. But anyway, so my grandma had tachycardia, and then she was like, I found out recently that I've got something called a coral reef aorta. And apparently, it's like really bad, and so you can't fix it hers surgically because like it's in the down. Hold on, I'll read you what she wrote me. She said, my main health issue now is the coral reef aorta. The only thing that I can connect it. So I was like, could your aorta have anything to do with like some kind of like blockage and stuff trying to redirect or something? And she was like, no, there are hard calcifications growing in my descending aorta. Not like regular plaque that they can just go in and clean out. It's a very strange affliction. It's a form of atherosclerosis, although it's not hardening of the arteries or plaque buildup. And it's not just regular arteries, it's my descending aorta. I have arteries and stuff checked on a regular basis with MRIs because of a stroke. Good blood flow is everywhere except for my right artery, but I'm getting good blood flow to my feet. So, like, heart shit is apparently an issue in our family. So they say that the definition for it, coral reef aorta, CRA, is a rare disease described as hard calcifications involving the arterial wall which protrude into the lumen. It predominantly involves the posterior thoracic and abdominal aorta. Coral reef aorta luminal lesions can cause significant aortic stenosis. You know what? I just thought of something crazy. Holly, how crazy is it that you got some health disease that was coral related when you literally, your entire aesthetic is coral reef? Everything in her house is coral reefs. Nuh-uh! Get out of that window, Sonny Jim. Oh, I'm feeling lightheaded. I should drink water. So Dutchman, that's what my doctor did say, and she said that my oxygen saturation levels were pretty good. That the only issue is really if I don't feel well. So, like, obviously, like, if I'm suffering from dizziness, fainting, which I kind of do. Or Lee, love, get out of there! Dog! Come on now. You gotta stop this shit. It's not gonna change your situation. No, it isn't. Good boy. He's such a good boy. So I just pretty much carry this everywhere I go. Kind of like try to not die. This is not a treat for you. You want a piece of salt? You want a piece of salt? Yeah, you don't want some salt. Elliot, come get some salt and water.
What did Mom ask you to do? Oh,
Come and take some salt.
salt.
Mm-hmm.
Marshall. Oh, man, that's perfect. Where's the salt?
Mm-hmm.
Alex, go to the room.
Here.
Come on, please.
I have water and everything already.
Yep.
Hold on.
Is it the jar?
No, I have a bag of salt. No, I just have a bag of salt. I keep a bag of salt in my backpack.
Marshall. Drama.
Holly says, no shit, how apropos. So Holly has this thing she told me today called a coral reef aorta. And how ironic is that considering what Holly's house looks like? You hear me?
Coral reef aorta.
Yeah.
What is that?
So fucking, it's gonna be the thing that kills her apparently.
So it's something in the human body, okay.
Yeah, it's an aorta.
Okay, so yeah, so that's why I was like.
Your aorta is there's your left and your right aorta.
Oh, yeah, I get it. There's like ventricles coming off the right.
Yeah. So it's like
Wow.
it's shaped totally like one of those.
What, full of calcium or what?
It's kind of like that. Yeah, it's like kind of like plaque and kind of like hardening of the arteries, but not really either. So you cannot go in and clear it out because it's like so like it's just like the way that it is you can't go in and clean it out. What?
There's natural stuff you can take that'll like melt that stuff, right?
Holly
Takes
is,
a long time,
dude. Holly is not gonna do
but
that.
Of course not.
She's not gonna do that.
Saying
She's not gonna
there's
stop having
ways
her
to correct
15
it, but-
rum and cokes in the evening.
Yeah, there's ways to correct it, but she's something that she may not do. I don't know. I don't know.
She's not able to hold on a second. Let me. I didn't want to tell you some super personal
If you
stuff.
didn't do anything, if you didn't do some business, you should have done it, but. Yeah,
But so the surgery to correct it, she says, is 20%. She says the surgery to fix it has close to a 20% mortality rate. So far, so good. I'm getting flow to my feet, and that's what they're concerned about, and to my liver and stomach, etc. So as long as she's getting good blood flow, then it's not too bad of an issue. It's just weird because she's so like in shape and like young, you know, like she literally runs like I think 4 miles every morning. She's literally run every day
She's like my dad.
for as
She's a
long as
young
I've
old
known.
person.
Huh?
She's like my dad, a young old person.
Yeah. Well, that's what happened in that fucking generation. Wait till we're old. We're gonna be the youngest, oldest generation, and then our own kids are gonna be even worse until we turn around the way that we're toxically fucking sludging ourselves to death with this plastic they call food. Like even the frozen vegetables look like plastic.
Well, if you think about it, it's funny. So something that comes in a cardboard box, what's it in inside of that cardboard box?
Yeah.
A plastic bag. Your milk is inside of what? A plastic bag?
Mm-hmm. Literally everything.
In freaking plastic.
I know, it's
Except for
gross.
Cracker
Cracker
Jacks.
Jacks are lined with
straight.
plastic.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Dude, even soda cans.
Yeah, everything is lined with
Dude,
plastic, Josh.
like cans.
Yeah.
Aluminum
Because the
cans
aluminum would
lined with
be eaten through.
plastic.
If they didn't put plastic in there, the soda would eat through the aluminum. Think about Coca-Cola, Josh.
Well, yeah, certain
Coca-Cola
kinds, yeah,
literally
yeah,
will
yeah.
eat metal.
Certain kinds, absolutely. You're 100% correct. So yeah, they're not gonna make separate cans, just like when they
Exactly, so they're gonna
They're
put
just gonna
plastic in
make
it.
One version, and then certain cars get the extra stuff. But yeah, 100%.
Everything's fucking got plastic in it. So even the cardboard stuff that you get is got like if it's got any wax in it or if it's any type of oily moisture or humid moisture to it, the cardboard is saturated with wax.
Well, no, but think about the printed stuff, like the laminated.
That's what I'm talking about.
Surface,
That
that's
laminated
plastic.
surface, yeah, it's like
That's leaching straight
on the
into
inside it's
cardboard.
like waxy. Milk cartons, for
Once it
example.
leaches into the
A milk
cardboard.
carton, the cardboard is waxed
Yeah.
with like, but now they use a plastic coating instead of a wax coating like they used to.
Good thought, too.
Do you remember like back in the day I used to scratch the wax off the milk
Yeah,
carton.
100%. The coating inside of my air fryer is made from plastic.
Dude, sidebar, you really should not use as non-stick pans.
I don't. My pan's
That's a
ceramic.
pan is a non-stick.
It's ceramic though.
No.
This blue pan, that's ceramic. That's why I bought this thing.
It's got maybe a ceramic coating, but if you notice the ceramic coating flaking away, so it's not cast iron with like enamel ceramic over it.
No, it's a steel pan with a
Right, with
ceramic
a ceramic non-stick coating.
coating,
Right. So any non-stick is bad news. You should just get the raw metal steel. And the thing is just like with regular cast iron, Josh, you have to heat the metal up before you put the food in it. That's the only reason food sticks is because you're putting food in it too soon. All you have to do is let the pan heat up for a couple of minutes and then you put your eggs in it and it don't stick at all. That's all I use at home is straight metal pans. And I don't use like non-stick spray or whatever. I usually a little oil, you know, just to give him fats and stuff. But yeah, I give him olive oil, but I don't like rely on it to like non-stick my pan. I just use steam if stuff sticks. I'll just put a little bit of water in the pan and put the lid over it and let everything kind of like steam in there, and then it causes anything that might be stuck to unstick, comes right off. Cast iron is the bomb, and I really like when we were like married and had a house and everything. I only used cast iron, and I had inherited a lot of my grandmother's cast iron. And where's my charger? Where's my green charger thing? And then I inherited a Dutch oven of hers that was sitting at her house in the side, like just hanging out somewhere for like years and years and years. And I finally. What?
Out here.
What?
Your charger. It's plugged into the end of that.
Oh, that's not my charger. I was gonna look for the other one. My
The
charger,
lightning
my charger.
cord?
Yeah, I was gonna look for my actual charger.
No. Well, that
not letting me put out. I don't know if that's Elliot's or yours.
I don't know either way.
But yeah.
But I was like what is it called? I was stripping them and reseasoning them, and I was in the process of reseasoning the cast iron, whatever it's called, when we took off on our RV trip. So I gave it to my sister for her to finish. I just saw my sister's. God damn it, this fucking thing. I'm anxious. Well, I guess I'm gonna go, and my kid doesn't want my attention right now. He wants to fucking play his video game. It's video game time. He doesn't want his mom. He wants his video games. So yeah, I'm gonna go. And I'm gonna go watch YouTube videos and maybe make dinner or something like that. It's 8 o'clock and no, I'm not gonna be back tonight. I may be back in the morning. I just did not feel like being on here today. I wanted to be in my personal day today. And then I had a doctor's appointment that I forgot about until like 20 minutes before my appointment. I made it in the nick of time. Thank God I happened to be here in this town when I remembered that I had the doctor's appointment, because otherwise I would never have made it to my appointment on time. And then I would have not found out about this heart issue, and I wouldn't have. Oh yeah, so anyway, she told me that with this heart stuff, she told me that I did not have to go to the emergency room unless I felt ill. But she's going to put in a like expedited referral to the cardiologist and ask them to get me in tomorrow or the day after. So I may end up being here for a couple more days if I have to see a cardiologist. So that's where we're at with that. But anyways, I'll see you guys later. I'm gonna go and watch some YouTube videos and veg out. I love you guys. I hope you have a wonderful evening and all that. I'll be in the Discord though, off and on.